We're recording now. So I didn't really know what we were going to do in this meeting other than try to kick off for the new stuff. But what do you want to see here, Kevin?
So, Brianna, I don't know, like I said, don't know if she may not have audio on her computer, but I don't know if she's even aware of this thing at all. She may be, I think Nate probably brought her up a little to speed, but I'm not sure how in depth he's gone with her. But really, I think, Charlotte, do you just, how comfortable do you feel with what kind of a general overview of what this is and how it works? And you
no, I think it would work good for us. I mean, it seems pretty
okay. So I think
simple, but like user friendly and everything.
What this is, Bree, is basically just a scheduling software. I think we're going to use it deeper than that, but it's basically a scheduling software format that's going to really help our organization get much more organized with visibility, travel time, entering orders, speeding things up so that you don't have to go to so many different areas to get information. This basically will somewhat summarize it all for us. So I think maybe what Billy, what you might do is just give them a quick rundown of exactly like the scheduling, and then from there, at least to show Bree, because I don't think Bree's seen any of this. I don't believe she has. Bree, can you chat? And here, hold on, somebody's chatting. Bree, can you hear us?
That's me asking her.
Oh, okay.
There she is.
Hey, yeah, I haven't seen any of it.
Okay. So I know it's kind of somewhat start from the beginning, but at least a little bit of a synopsis of what this thing does for scheduling, so that she can see the optimization, because we're going to have different areas, Bree, that we've got. You've got Jacksonville, you've got Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, and growing. Yeah. And for the other, Jamie's benefit, who's not on here, and Jocelyn's benefit, who's on here, they can at least see like what this thing kind of does, even though this is kind of a little bit of a rehash for Charla. At least you kind of get your head wrapped around this.
So Charlotte and Kevin, you saw the demo I sent to Nate back on the 4th.
Yep.
I can send that to Brianna as well, and y'all can forward it around. Or I can go over some stuff here with her, on the fly. I
would say let's send that demo. Let's just, I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste their time either. I would say let's send that demo. Send that to me, and then also and I'll forward it to Jamie and Jocelyn. Actually, can I give you a different email address?
Sure.
It's just Kevin at DID.
Come again. D.
Yeah, DID. Like did. Slash. No, actually, what would that? Yeah, or I guess it would be the minus sign, wouldn't it, Charla? Yeah, G2.
Yeah.
Like, yep, G2.com. Yeah, there you go. That's the one.
And who else?
And then actually just forward it to me, and I'll deal with the rest of them.
Okay.
And then you, Bree. Actually, Bree, do you want to chime in with your email address there, just so since you're on here?
She went muted again. I tell you what, Kevin, when you get this, send me back all of your email addresses, Charla's, Brianna's, and if there's someone else you spoke of.
Yep.
just shoot them back to me and we'll be in good shape then.
Okay, sounds good. So,
I can go over an overview as well here if you want, or I think Nathan told me that he wants to keep them separate entities, and I wasn't aware that the Texas area kind of shared resources and also shared territories. If maybe that's not the right term, but
well, it's kind of zones, where even though you had like, in that last demo that you did, you had like Jacksonville in there.
and that's done down here at job setup, zip codes. And yeah, that's what we would have to do. I think what we got to do is set you up another instance. Here are the zones that we set up. And if we're going to take separate entities, the demographic tag may not come into play until you try to run two entities in under one instance. And that may be the route you go, but I know the one out in Texas where y'all are kind of sharing some cities. Let's just leave it at that. I think he said both of them work in Austin. I'm not sure, but that would get a little messy trying to run it in one entity. So we will set up another company for that.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know how big of a deal that would be to run two entities. I really, we're sharing the resources right? We're sharing the resources. So I'll discuss that with Nate.
And that's fine with me. You know, right now we have an instance for you, and that's what that demo was on. It's a company 344. And I think y'all have some login. Some of you do. Let's see, admin, company, users. I got Kevin, Nathan, and I built an admin. Trayvon is an old one, so he goes away. That's not you. And then I got Joe as an installer down in Jacksonville. And
so give me an overview real quick, what the difference between the levels of permissions would be.
You basically don't really need to care that much about that, but you know, we have three levels. An admin, a normal, and a limited. Now your installers are going to be limited, and that means they're only going to see their jobs. If you got supervisors out there, you can let him see multiple things in that, but everybody else is just going to be an admin in your group. It's not a billable, you know, what we normally do. The first admin is a super admin who adds and takes away users, and then everybody else is just an admin. But when you get down to it, you can give and take away options over here via the user profile. So if you don't want somebody to look at inventory, you can do that. So I'm just going to leave everybody in your group as an admin other than the people in the field, and they'll be limited guys.
Okay.
And that they will be predominantly using the app.
Yep.
They cannot sign on to the desktop if they're limited. Now, if you want them to do both, we'll make them a normal user if you want to, if it comes to that. But you know, to begin with, to keep it simple, yeah, when we do create a user, we have three different levels, but it's really just two.
Right. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll respond to you in that email with those people, their email addresses, and their permission.
I should have given you this. This is what we need to get started. Need your company name, address, and a logo if you got one. Zip codes, those are the areas you service. Zones are the grouping of the zip codes. So if you take Austin, you break it down into 5 slices or 4 slices or 2 slices, whatever you want to do.
Right.
That's the zone sitting on top of the multiple zip codes in Austin. Then we need your inventory. And later on after that, we'll build the kits. That's what that demo touched on a little bit, the way to put a group of items on a job with a couple of clicks. And then the user roles, admin or installers. And then for me, I talked to Nathan about that master report. There's a master materials report that we've got to build for you guys if it's still a hot item. And that means that you can go in the morning time and say, okay, Joe's got 5 jobs he's got to go do today. You want to pull all the materials for all those 5 jobs.
Right. So Charlie, what I think what he's referring to is, let's call it, DR Horton model number 1, 2, 3 kit. I think you were referring to them as kits, right, Billy?
That'd be true. Like this is a kit right here that's got 3 different pieces of equipment on it. And, to get it there, you go into your kits, you search for your kit. So it'd be a DR Horton, whatever you just said, 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And then you search here, key in your DRH. That'll bring up if you name them correctly, you'll get all your DRH coming up. So I got a DR Horton kit 1 in Texas. You select that guy. And that is the.
When we started the inventory level and just add all our inventory SKUs and name them whatever. And then from there, we build the house with what inventory SKUs we know it's going to need, right?
This is the inventory that I got from Nathan. I got like 112 records. And
Okay.
Floorless, faux, blonde, and blind and things like that. And yeah, so those items grouped together equal a kit.
Okay. So you pretty much already have it.
Now, what I was talking to you about is, okay, in the morning time, if you go into these jobs or in the day before, and you want to say, hey, Joe's got 5 jobs tomorrow. Let's see what Joe's got. Matt's only got 1.
Yeah, it makes no difference, right?
But let's say, okay, this guy's got 3 jobs tomorrow. So to get his material list, you go into each job and go to this guy right here. And this will pull the materials that they need for the day. You can print that. Now, what we talked about doing was doing a master pull that would go in and say, hey, I want to see Dallas install guy number 2 for 10/13 Thursday, and go build this report for every job. Otherwise, you got to go into the 3 jobs and do it for right now. That is not, that's code we're going to have to write. And if it's still hot on you guys' ticket, I'm fine with it.
I think so, actually, because I think we want to be able to. So basically, Charlotte, right, we'll get a sheet. The guy will, so tomorrow, let's say Matt or whomever it is, DID installer number 1, his bucket list is these 3 houses, and he has, 20, 40, 34 by 60s to install. On the pallet, for today, we'll go out and we'll pull, I know we'll do it probably further in advance than one day, but not too far in advance. We'll go out and we'll pull 20, 34 by 60s and put them on a pallet. So when he shows up, he knows to finish his day, he's going to install 20, 34 by 60s. And in each house, he would know how many of those 24 by 6 or 34 by 60s would go into that house, right?
Yeah.
So we'll pull a master pallet for him or her.
Oh, okay, yeah. But they would all be, each house would be on a separate like pull list, right?
They would all be on a separate pull list. So when he
Okay.
gets to job 1 for the day, he'll have a job and he'll say, okay, this job number 1, 2, 3, 4 Main Street, I need 6 34 by 60s, 2 24 by 72s, and 1 72 by 72. Right? And then after he's done with that job, it all goes smoothly. He walks out of the house, he says complete, he goes to the next job. He pulls that same sheet out, right? Or has it on his tablet. I'm sure this is all available on a tablet or on a phone.
Well, yes, it's available on the tablet. A lot of people, I think you and we spoke, a lot of people aren't warm and fuzzy unless they have a piece of paper sometimes.
Yep,
So
totally.
you can print it, or you can use your phone as well.
Okay, good. So yeah, some of those people who aren't up, they want that thing, they want the tablet, they want the ease of that, they've got it. If not, you can hold a piece of paper in your hand, right?
Yep.
So, okay. Then we literally just need to build the kits on each single house, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if this inventory was real inventory.
I think it was. It looks pretty real.
got 90, I think it were 90 things. Let's see, I put all the DFW in, it was 90 records. And I put them all in as active. He had some that were inactive. But yeah, this is a piece of inventory. And something else we talked about, Kevin, was your installation charge. So when you get at the end of the month, or at the end of the week, you can run a report. And we got to do some tweaking here because it doesn't account for the quantities. So you might put in 10 of these guys and you're paying them $1, or you may pay them $1.25. You may pay them $1.75. We don't have that ability to override it, but we'll give it to you at the report level. So if you get over here to the tech install report, you can run a report saying, okay, you installed 50 of these blinds at $1 and 60 of these at $1 and give you a report, right? And then he brought it up to me that, well, hey, sometimes we pay them more. Well, you're going to override it at this level because we only allow one install charge per item. It's not broken down on a tiered level, as some installers get $1 for this item. Some installers get $1.25. I'll give you the ability to override it here. When you run a report, it'll note that, hey, you know, where you install 60 at $1.25, or 60 at 75 cents, or 60 at $1.
Got you. Okay.
Was that just kind of for like accounting purposes, like for payroll?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. So at the end of the month, you could, or end of the week, or however often we're paying.
And does it weekly?
Yeah, right. So you'd be able to run a summary and just know that, you know, Bobby was out there and he installed 100 blinds or 500 blinds this week. Okay, well, we pay Bobby $5 a blind. He's getting $2,500 check, right?
Right, which is easier because right now each guy has to write down all of their installs plus how many blinds they do. So it'll just pull all that information from here, correct?
Right. Summarizes it, and then really there's no questions other than did they complete the job or not, right?
Right. And then will there be an option for like trip charges, like a separate, like not installation, but like if they go out, sometimes we'll pay them $25 for a trip charge. Is there going to be like separate options for that?
We may have to add that as a kit per se, and then we charge. That's a, you know, 25. You know, maybe those are side deals. I don't know, but I don't know about that one. I'm sure there's something we can figure out.
Yeah, like miscellaneous repairs, basically. Or
yeah, we have a miscellaneous charge here. If I go into admin, miscellaneous charges.
so you basically just manually add it in.
Well, I'm adding it one time. You're gonna add it right here. And then yeah, you would manually add it into your job. So if I go to the job here, and now if you want to override, say I put $25 in as a trip charge, it may be 125 depending on where you're going. So you go here to miscellaneous, drop down and grab the trip charge, and I can override it now to go one at $200 and add the order. Now I don't have a report right now off the top that I know of that says, okay, we owe Joe or Matt or Jim, whoever, $500 for travel time or something like that. But as long as it's in the database, we can extract it.
Right. Yeah, I was just curious about like extra.
You look at this job, you can see that trip charge is down here in the dollar sign. And we got to figure out, you know, what are you billing? You're paying Joe, or you're paying your installers $1 or $2 or whatever. What are you doing about how are you making a bill back to DF Horton or something? We got to figure that out because there were numbers on these blinds here, which is an inventory item. So we'll just have to roll up our sleeves and see what that means to you. We can blank it out or whatever.
Charlotte, that's typically, you don't send typically invoices to builders, do you? I mean, you're basically going into Supply Pro.
Yeah, only maybe 10% of them, maybe.
Okay, well, that's a manual process then for you.
So let me ask you this, Billy, if there is there a daily report that I could globally pull that would show what was completed?
Sure, you can do that.
Daily, monthly, weekly, whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, once we complete this job right here, let's take this guy right here. Now, you can mark it in the field as complete pending or something like that, and let your people in the office complete it, or if you feel comfortable with your people in the field. But I'm gonna complete that job. And now that job is gone from here, and it's over in here in history. And now you can run reports from here, you know, and take Excel spreadsheets and things of that nature.
So on an invoicing basis, you know, it may be a task of someone in the office to go through at the end of every day or the first thing every morning, go through every completed, go to the job history, run it from the previous day. You could run a report that would show
Okay,
everything that was completed yesterday and go back into the supply
yeah, I got through like half of it and then the thing
and,
started.
and close it out and invoice it in Supply Pro.
Yeah, and you would do that. You can do that in two places, in our invoicing module or in our history module. But they're going to be gone from here. This is the job's in progress.
Right.
Once they get completed, they go away from here and they go to here.
Now, if an installer has something like where he knows he has to go back at the end of his install, will he just press like reschedule or pending and then it'll stay in the jobs area?
You can do that a number of ways. If you want the installer to reschedule it, he can. Or if he wants to send you guys a message that says, hey, need to reschedule, need to return, you can then reschedule it. Yeah, it'll stay in there until you take it away. You know,
It'll stay in there until we press complete and then
when
it'll
you
go.
press complete, it is here, keeps building. And so he could have gone in there and said, I need you to reschedule right here. I got a problem. I hadn't put any problems in here. He could have sent you a message right here to reschedule. And then you could drop it down and send it to you. That would show up in our message center. It would show up here for you to reschedule. Then you could come over here and you could see all of the tasks that are for you right here. Let me show you a company here. They're heavy into what we call the message center. And it logs everything. That blue button that we just talked about, I just showed you, we call it a blue button. This is a message center where he says they're having problems or they're having comments out there. That's an internal dialogue from the people in the field and the people in the office. And that's that blue dialogue box. It's on the app as well as on the desktop. The activity log, you don't care about that. The email log, if you start to email stuff, it'll be there. And then the text sent details, these are text messages going in and out to your builders and supervisors and things of that nature. So there's a number of ways to get the message across that, hey, we need to reschedule this. If you want to allow your technicians to do it, that's fine. But, you know, you might want to be looking at the calendar when you decide, hey, maybe he's got to go back tomorrow. I don't know. So, you know, this is that guy's workload for tomorrow. So his lady, two ladies in the office will determine when they're going to go back on that next trip.
Right. Got it.
Okay. And then how do we build these kits?
You're going to go into your inventory and you're going to put a kit here. And I'll help you with that. And then you're going to add a kit. Then it's going to ask you, you know, to select certain things, certain pieces of inventory item and things like that. So, you know, It's a manual process unless you can come up with a decent spreadsheet that we can modify, we can put them in there. If you want to put a few kits together in a spreadsheet, we can do it with an API, but it's a manual process to build the kits. You just go in, you name the kits, and then you start adding the inventory to it. And then it's a kit. Once you access that kit, it brings all those items to the job. Now, you can take them away. If the kit says I want 100 of these, and you say, well, this house only needs 90 of them, you can take 10 of them away, but it's going to add that kit to that job.
Okay. Okay. Do you guys have any questions? Either one of you have any questions kind of in regards to this, other than we just kind of need to get everybody set up user wise and just kind of start building some.
Once, you know, we have everything set, well, we have logins, we've got, you know, our company set up, who puts in all the customer information?
Well, the customers are just gonna, I mean, we're gonna take your, so what I did here is I put in a DR Horton for Florida. That's the main DR Horton location. So when you got a new location to go service, you're gonna click this multiple location button and then key in that these are the DR Horton, Florida that I've got. Well, I want to add a new location here. And it may be Lane subdivision or something. I don't know what your naming convention would be. 1, 2, 3, and then a zip code. And then you just click add and create work order or job, and you're good. That is now a location ready for you to put a number in. That guy's in there.
Kevin, do we have all the DID accounts in here?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
You talking about the master accounts or the locations that you service?
Master accounts.
Yeah.
Ours are different.
Yeah. And if we do have an API there. How many are there?
For the DID, let me look really quick. 40, Charlotte?
Yeah, I would say something like that.
I can shoot you an API. If you can put them in.
I have it on this. I have it on an Excel spreadsheet.
Right here, this guy right here is what with the format we need.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we
Well, I've
need,
got something almost identical to that.
we need a phone number. We don't need a first name. We need a last name. We need an address. We don't need an address too. We need a valid zip code, which will then relate to a valid city, state. And then the bill to can be copied over as well.
Okay.
None of this other stuff is really show-stoppable. And you guys don't really get into credit limits and exempt things and things of that nature right now. So yeah, I'll send you this as well. But this is the API, and then we can plug with a couple of clicks. We can upload those customers. Now that is the master location, which you hardly ever or never go install a blind at. Is that correct?
They never do.
Yes. So then you would have to put your multiple locations in as the job comes around.
So Charlotte, if it's, let's just say, Milestone, Austin, Milestone, San Antonio, right? We'll have to differentiate between that
Yeah.
on the ship to, right? So that
Well,
we
the
know.
ship to doesn't matter because it doesn't matter. We only have, unless we're getting another warehouse in San Antonio, we only have one warehouse. So.
Right. But because of the ship to will be the location of the, installation. The bill to will be, I guess it's irrelevant, isn't it?
Well, wouldn't the ship to always, because like we have right now on ePay, the ship to is always the warehouse in Austin.
We call it the service location. It's a service location. This is where you're actually putting in the blinds. This is the bill to information. This is the parent company.
And when you enter in an order, you'll be selecting the area that it's going to, whether it be San Antonio or Austin or Dallas.
When you key a zip code right here, give me a zip code in Texas.
But like for example, like if blinds are being made in Carrollton and then they go on a truck to Austin, where do you put that goes on the delivery truck to just be like, to be delivered to the Austin warehouse. It's not going to go to the house it's being installed at.
I'm not, you're talking about a purchase order number to me. I'm not following you there. This is a,
Is that not going to be in this system, Kevin, or is that something totally different? Or
well,
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't spoken on it, but we do have a purchase order system. Let me
maybe that's a different system. Maybe that's when the order entry, how they know where it ships to. Maybe they won't.
it would probably be down. Yeah, it may be a different system, because what we do is when we put the items on a job, then you create a purchase order, or you can create a purchase order manually as well, though. If you just went in here to create a purchase order and have ABB, I guess you could put notes to where you're going to ship it to and things of that nature, but we'd have to talk about that. That's a little bit outside. Not to, I mean, like I said, we do a purchase order, but it sounds like the way your business model runs, you don't have a job in there. If you wanted to just do a manual blanket purchase order in my system, you can.
I may be confusing things, because that may be a different system when the order gets entered. That's where we're going to.
Yeah, I think what we'll have to do is we'll have to go into this system or a system, and where these orders get entered into, right, into that system, and we will. How are we going to do that? We may have to give the factory, whether that be Austin or in Dallas, Carrollton, the orders that he's going to install. Let's just hypothetically say everything's made in Carrollton, okay? Which is probably will be that way in the beginning. In the beginning, we'll have to go probably 3 or 4 days in advance and pull every order that we know he's going to install in 3 or 4 days, right? Or every amount of blinds that they're going to need to install in 3 or 4 days. We'll put it on a pallet, bundle it up, ship it down with the packing list of every order that he's going to be installing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when they receive it, they've got those lists right there. Now, that process I think will eventually change, but that will at least get it down there to them in advance time, right?
Okay.
So we're talking about putting inventory down in Austin so that they don't have to.
What I just did was create a purchase order for a vendor named ABB, ship it to DFW. I don't have valid addresses, and that you got 100 of those 106 by 96 for $21,200. That's a manually purchase order in Service Pros, and you can complete it and receive it into inventory if you want and things of that nature. That may be something you want to look at moving down the line.
Yeah.
Because if you receive that purchase order, it's going to take those 100 quantities and add to the quantity that is in there for 106 by 96 OW. And if you're going to try to keep real track of your inventory counts, you're going to have to either update it when that purchase order gets received, or you're going to have to, you're going to have to update it.
Yeah.
If you do it with Service Pros, it will automatically update our inventory counts. So if I came in here, finalize that purchase order, that would send it off to ABB. Then if you wanted to receive that item item, once it's finalized, now you can receive into inventory, and you can receive it partial or full. So that's probably something we might, down the road, but right now, we hadn't spoken about that too much. Most of our companies build a job and then send a purchase order out applicable to that job. You guys are sending a purchase order out, I think, if I'm understanding correctly. Yeah, they're not on the job yet. I don't know. But if you are, so if he I don't want to confuse anybody, but if we'll go into here. I'm going to hit these jobs. And you start scrolling down, these open in yellow means there's a purchase order out there.
Mhm.
There's a green one right here. That means that purchase order's come into the house and it's been flagged. So if you looked at the purchase order here, that's the purchase order that was ordered. And it's come into the house and they're ready now to go do the job. So there's a couple of ways you can do that, but if you go over to inventory, purchase orders, they're his purchase orders these are ready to receive, meaning they've gone out to the vendor and waiting on them to come back. And once they go into completed mode or closed mode, they go away from here. That means the purchase order came in full. This is a done deal. It's gone. The materials have gone to inventory and the job's scheduled.
Okay. Yeah, let me think that one through, Charla. Okay. Okay. Do you have any other questions, Charla? Or Bree?
Not right now. I mean, like, I think, once.
We've just got a lot of questions. A lot of questions. So not necessarily pertaining to you, Billy, just our processes and procedure. We're just completely revamping everything for the most part and trying to make this more efficient. We're just under a short time crunch. So, okay, well, let me get to work on getting you a master sheet there so we can upload all these customers. And then once we do that, we can at least start there, right? And get this set up. And then we can
This is what you guys need to chew on a little bit here, and you're including a master customer master for us. And I'll shoot this to you at the end of this meeting. I think I already sent it, but I'll send it again. And if you want to put an email trail out there with people involved, we can stay informed there.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
All righty.
I'm as I told Nathan, I'm traveling tomorrow. Limited availability on Friday and back at the office on Monday.
Okay, sounds good.
But I'll be checking emails and voicemails.
Perfect.
Okay, guys, take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.